autumn-like air is covering much of the U.S. this week, certainly everybody east of the Rockies. And for the most part, the weather in the east
So
is
it's
on the
official. The
calm side.
legislature just called a special.
However, it's
Sorry.
my show. I'm doing the open here.
I'm
However,
sorry.
yes,
Why don't we start from the beginning?
no, I'll just keep going. We do have some interesting weather going on in the West and in Alaska, of all places, and we'll talk about that and give you an idea of where things are going as we head toward the Labor Day holiday weekend. And that's straight ahead on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. If you shop on Amazon, use our referral link that's on the descriptor of this podcast on YouTube underneath the title. All you got to do is click on that link, do whatever shopping you're going to do, and Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. And also is doesn't come, not a penny of it comes out of your pocket. It's an easy, quick way to support the show and keep the live stream commercial free. And I know you like that. So thank you for those of you who have shopped on Amazon via the Joe and Joe Weather Show link. And Tempest by WeatherFlow, you get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. I've got the Tempest weather station, and it's phenomenal and easy to install. We have the link for this pinned to the top of the chat board tonight. It's also on the descriptor of this podcast. Use the coupon code because we have a special coupon code for Joe and Joe podcast viewers, summer 2025. Because if you do,
You will get 10 big percent off.
yes, you
How
will.
wonderful is that?
Almost as wonderful as the weather is. I mean, I was 59 this morning for a low, and 74 was the high. Dew points were in the 50s. We had sunshine for much of the day, but we started to cloud over around mid-afternoon, and right now it is 68 degrees here in North Georgia.
I think we had a high of 81. I might be wrong. Renato was getting on my case. Down here in my office, my home office, where I'm in the basement, and down here it's a good 5 degrees or so cooler than upstairs. So I wear a sweater. I didn't hear that, dear. I didn't have my intercom on loud enough. But in
Oh,
any case, it's so much cooler down here, so I wear a sweater when I'm 83 for all the
83.
people wondering.
You stand corrected as you always are.
Thank you. Anyway, I wear a sweater. I come up and I either for lunch or I'll take the dog out, and she's looking at me and she's saying, "Why the heck are you wearing a sweater when it's 80 degrees, 82 degrees outside, 83?" I said, "Because it's chilly down here." "Well, take the thing off, and when you come up, leave it downstairs or whatever." So anyway, it was a beautiful day today. I do notice we have, Joe, kind of a scattered to broken cumulus cloud cover right now, but I believe that's going to be fading out in the coming hours, and we'll be left with a clear night tonight. Later tonight, we'll probably turn off the air conditioning and opening the windows, and it looks like we're going to have ourselves a stretch of great weather through much of this week and on into the upcoming weekend as well.
Yeah, minor interruption maybe on Friday with a cold front that's going to come through and basically reinforce the cool, dry air for the weekend. But other than that, there's nothing in the cards for you probably right through Labor Day.
Yeah, the front that you just alluded to may bring us some showery weather, especially during the first half of the day on Friday, but not all that much. Basically, dry weather till then. Maybe I don't know, a couple of tenths of an inch if we're lucky on Friday early, and then drying out for later Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even for Labor Day Monday. Looks like pretty good holiday weekend forecast coming up.
Long, dry stretches can sometimes not end well. And we'll see what happens after we get through Labor Day, if there's anything in the cards for later next week. In the meantime, also that dry air, the cool dry air, has spread through much of the eastern half of the United States and maybe even a little bit more than half. But there's a lot of showers and thunderstorms and flash flooding going on tonight in, of all places, the deserts of Southern California.
And would you say that that's monsoonal, seasonal type of condition, or
Uh, Let me just take a quick look. I mean, it does look somewhat monsoonal, so I would just want to just quickly check what the upper air looks like. Yeah, I mean, they're in kind of a ridge position there in the west, but they've got tropical moisture that's sort of flowing up the backside of the high and then getting whipped around to the east across Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. Then it sinks southward into New Mexico. And yeah, I mean, it's monsoonal, but there's a little bit more to it.
okay? So we'll, that, and they also have very hot temperatures out in the far west as well. Meantime, we're sitting pretty here. We have not only do we have the pleasant seasonable or near seasonal temperatures, but we're going to have dew points that basically are going to be in the 50s and even the 40s over the course of the next 5 to 7 days. So no complaints on this end.
No, I was out doing yard work in the middle of the afternoon here, which if it was a hot summer day, you really don't want to do that. But I took advantage of the fact that the humidity was so low and it just felt so good, and I didn't even break much of a sweat either, so that was also a plus. Welcome to everybody tonight on the chat board, and those of you who are lurking in the background, we give you a big hello as well to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. and the occasional Friday and Saturday when there's a storm around. Obviously, there's not going to be one this week. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on so in case there's a change, you know about it. And in case you need a reminder, you'll get one. And of course, if you like the show, hit the like button. So on that note, let's take a look at what's going on in the land of watches and warnings. We've got three counties in northeastern Minnesota, Joe, that have frost advisories, and we actually have um, beach alerts for the shores of Lake Ontario and parts of Lake Erie for later tomorrow and tomorrow night for a pickup in the wind and some rough seas and possible rip currents, as I read on the statement. And they actually have them up also for western Michigan and down into northwest Indiana. So you don't see that too often, but it does happen every once in a while. And then you look out west where you've got a peppering of extreme. Now I got to look again because the colors here are so darn close. So these are extreme heat warnings and heat advisories, mostly for northernmost California, the western half of Oregon, and into Washington State. And then you go to the eastern half of Oregon into Idaho, also in the Sierra Nevadas, also in Southern California in the deserts, in southeastern California and southwest Arizona. We've got flash flood watches and flash flood warnings that are up right now. Palm Springs is under a flash flood warning at the moment. Also seeing flood watches up in parts of Colorado and New Mexico and in central Oklahoma and southeastern Utah. And on the lower left, where you see the state of Alaska, we really don't get to see, we take a look up there every once in a while. And usually it's, especially in the wintertime, clearly, and even in the latter, in the fall and in the spring, you see winter storm warnings and blizzard warnings. So it's a little unusual to see flood watches up for many counties in Alaska. And I have a satellite picture, a satellite loop. There's a big storm that is in the Bering Sea that's pulling up tons of moisture in southern parts of Alaska. And I'll bring that map up here in a second. Give me a moment here. If we go down to the southern part of the state, toward places like Dillingham, Good News Bay, Then there's a whole bunch of the rest of them I can't. Oh, Crooked Creek, I can pronounce that. This is just west of the Aleutians, where the Aleutians start. They're forecasting 2.5 to 4 inches of rain or more, and this whole area is under a flash flood watch.
So we'll see what the story goes for Alaska. I was just trying to check on the 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 day outlook whether or not the Climate Prediction Center has above normal precipitation for them during the coming next 1 to 2 weeks. But in any case, you're right. It is kind of unusual to see something like that in our vast 49 state. This type of situation. I see, Joe, that they do have, at least on the 6 to 10 day outlook, a broad area in central and western Alaska above normal. In fact, I'm trying to see here. Whoops, hang on for a second. Um, Precipitation wise, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have for the next 6 to 10 days for Alaska now 60 to 70% probability of above normal precipitation. That's not leaning above, that's likely above normal. And they continue to show that right on into the 8 to 14 day outlook, which indicates that it will continue to remain above normal precipitation wise, at least right on through the 8th of September. So looks like wetter than normal conditions coming up for Alaska, much of Alaska. Although when I'm looking at Alaska, I'm looking at the main body of Alaska. The capital is Juneau, and Juneau is more like along the mainland west coast of the United States, and not that huge hunk of land that sticks out. In fact, for Juneau, they have below normal precipitation. So if you're in the capital of Alaska, you're probably dry or will be dry for the next week or two. But if you're in the main area of Alaska, you're probably going to be seeing or experiencing quite a few days of rainy or showery weather, at least over the next, again, week or two.
And in the west, you can see the waves of showers and thunderstorms coming up from the south out of Mexico and pushing northward. And then, as I said earlier, when they get up into Nevada, they come over the top of the ridge and then they start to turn east. But you can see there's a lot of lightning strikes going on out there, and in the desert areas, you get half an inch of rain, and it could cause massive flash flooding because the ground is like cement. In the meantime, one thing that is absent on the satellite loop is any indications of smoke, giving that our air is coming from northwest Canada. So that's good news, and a lot of what you see in terms of the cloud cover that's scattered across upstate New York and Pennsylvania and points west. That's all cold upper air instability that is popping up, but not producing any showers really. And even in the Gulf states, there's hardly any shower or thunderstorm activity anywhere, although some of the blow off from that western moisture is streaming eastward, almost in a straight line from Oklahoma to Arkansas and into Tennessee and North Georgia and western North Carolina. So that's why I got into quite a bit of cloud cover. And on the radar, actually, we do see a speckling of showers in upstate New York, and also some special marine warnings that have been put up for the southeast shores of and the eastern shores of Lake Ontario, and also a speckling of showers both in eastern Michigan and on the Canada side, north of Lake Erie, a couple of speckles across Ohio and into Pennsylvania, but they're going to die out. There's a line of showers and maybe even a thunderstorm or two crossing Maine, and that's the old frontal boundary now that's pushing east. In the meantime, there's some light rain that's streaming from Oklahoma east into Tennessee, concentrated mostly in Arkansas, across Arkansas. We got a few showers and a couple of thunderstorms in patches, one south of Tampa, and a couple of areas there off the Florida coast. Another little complex uh, around and just to the east of Jacksonville, also in South Texas. And then you got this mess in the west, and you can see in California a bunch of flash flood warnings in those desert areas in Southern California and also in southern Arizona, where we're seeing the same thing and even the odd severe thunderstorm warning. Some big storms up and around Reno, in Nevada and the Sierra Nevadas, and some showers and a couple of rumbles of thunder throughout parts of Colorado, New Mexico. Slightly lighter in terms of precip intensity back through Wyoming and into Idaho. Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk tonight in southern Arizona, and that's it. And for the next 2 days, there's no severe weather being forecast, but I just wanted to show you it's here we are at the still on August 25th. I mean, the calendar doesn't always, the seasons and the calendars don't always match. You don't flip switches like that. But it is a little bit unusual to see no thunderstorms being forecast from Maine down to North Florida, west to the Mississippi, and then northwest from there up through the plains. It's all mostly from Texas on westward to California and Oregon and Washington, Idaho, where we're going to see some scattered storms. And here's something, Mr. Rayo, as far as rain is concerned, again, minimal, a tenth of an inch or less, a little bit more up in New Hampshire. But you got to go down to South Carolina and Florida, where you start to get into the 3/4 of an inch to an inch, inch and a quarter. And then you get into Florida, it's more like 2 or even 3 inches, particularly South Florida. And then the Mississippi River Valley, back up through Kansas and Oklahoma, West Texas and New Mexico and Colorado, you've got a large area where up to several inches of rain is going to fall this week.
Well, I said earlier on in the show that I thought that maybe on Friday we might pick up maybe upwards to maybe a couple of tenths of an inch. And I think basically that's it. That's going to be it for the next 7 days. So I guess that one area of moisture that shows up over the tri-state area is backloaded, so to speak, for later on in the week. And again, once we get past Friday, we'll probably hopefully see white in our zone. Although I know people are already talking about, oh my goodness, it's going to be so dry. Oh, what am I going to do? My plants, my flowers, my grass, or whatever. But I don't know about anybody. I'm just enjoying the fact that we finally have a stretch of weather where we don't have the haze, we don't have the oppressive humidity, we don't have the heat, and more importantly, too, we don't have that smoke from the brush fires and activity up in northwestern Canada. As we pointed out last night, it looks like for a number of days to come, Joe, the Northeast is going to be fairly free and clear of that. So enjoy these blue sky days that we're going to be seeing.
Meanwhile, as we look at the upper air, here's what's going on. At least there's a rather deep upper low in the Gulf of Alaska, and that's what. Plus, they also have a jet that's coming out of the Pacific from the southwest that's going into Alaska as well. So between the two of those, and a deep trough right along the international date line, so that's keeping Alaskans very busy with rainfall. In the meantime, our flow tonight coming right out of northwest Canada and dropping down. The jet stream drops all the way down into the Gulf states. You got a closed upper low between James Bay and Lake Huron. And that trough, while it does partially lift out, there's another short wave that's going to come down and sort of fill back into the same spot. So by the time we get to Thursday, there's another upper low between James Bay and Lake Huron, and another trough goes all the way down to northern Florida. And that trough hangs around pretty much all weekend. It weakens a bit, but it does hang around for the entire Labor Day holiday weekend, keeping the flow mostly west or northwest, gradually even going northerly. So that would certainly argue for dry conditions for the most part, except maybe Friday when we're going to deal with the frontal passage, but that's really about it. And if we run through this on the GFS anyway, eventually the trough lifts out, but we're left with troughing all along the southeast coast around the early to middle part of next week. And various models, I think we're in that period right now where models like to lose things. So, they've been the European, the GFS showing something forming off the southeast coast and maybe moving northward for the middle of next week. Kind of lost it on the day run, but seems to have come back on the in-betweens. So we'll have to we'll just watch and see what happens because that if you get something off the southeast coast, if it has enough time, it could always become a tropical system. But that's a long ways down the road. And then eventually, the we get into more ridging as we head toward, say, September 10th and beyond. Not a lot, just a little bit. And then the westerlies kind of gradually lower. It looks like another upper low is northern Hudson Bay might be wanting to press down in the longer term. So I mentioned yesterday that maybe around mid-month we might warm up for a day or a few days, but we'll have to just see how all this plays out. But in the meantime, it's a very, certainly for this week, it's a very, very uh, cool pattern. It's something that you don't often see at the end of August, maybe at the middle or at latter part of September. So I'd say this is probably about 2 or 3 weeks early.
Yeah, and as you have pointed out, in other years, more recent years, we've stayed rather warm, not only
Yes.
through September but on into October. But this year, it looks like it finally is going to feel, well, this time it's going to feel not just autumn like, it's going to feel like we're ahead of the game by, as you just pointed out, a few weeks.
So dry 70s by day, 50s at night. Warmer urban areas closer to 60. Cooler inland spots probably down in the 40s for lows, particularly Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Here's this next front that approaches Thursday and goes into upstate New York. And behind that's another high. The front doesn't have a whole lot with it, but we'll probably let's throw in the chance that there could be a couple of showers or maybe a rumble or two of thunder. I doubt it, but the thunder part, but at least a few showers, maybe running around on Friday until the front passes. There's a frontal wave off the southeast coast that's going to go out east northeast, so the next high gets to build in. Stays rather cool for the weekend and dry and sunny. Should be really 3 good days. Now here's where the lagging part of that trough, you start to see a low form off the southeast coast on the GFS. It's like Tuesday night, Wednesday, and it actually deepens it quite a bit as it moves up the coast. Again, if it has enough time, if this is real, you can make a case that maybe you could get a tropical or a subtropical system out of this. But that's 9 days from now, so I'm not going to worry about it now. And then once that goes by, we dry out, and things look like they stay dry pretty much. Um, it wouldn't shock me if we wind up with a couple of what we often refer to as the homegrown type tropical systems rather than have one that's coming all the way out from the African coast.
Well, I think it's wonderful that we have such a consistent pattern showing up well into the early part of September for cooler than average temperatures in the central and eastern United States. Now, just how impressive this is for really any time of the year really isn't being talked about enough. You watch the evening network newscast, and they're always looking for something negative to talk about, like extreme heat or storms or whatever. But for this time of the year to get such a long period of near to below average temperatures feels almost impossible. And it looks like this is going to be the story, Joe, from now right on through at least the first week of September, if not even a little bit beyond.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see how it plays. In the meantime, we do still have Tropical Storm Fernand. Where is it? There it is. Tropical Storm Fernand at 35.3, 57.2. Top winds are 60 miles an hour, moving north northeast at 14, and maybe by this time tomorrow night, it'll be post tropical. And on the Pacific side, we have Tropical Storm Juliet, which is forecast. It's well off the coast of Baja, already moving northwest. Forecast to briefly become a hurricane later tonight or early Tuesday, and then it goes into the Pacific hurricane graveyard and never to be heard from again. So there you go. And there's
Well, this is
nothing.
like this is like how it used to be. I mean, in recent years, it hasn't been this way, but it always was the case that the Pacific always had more tropical cyclones by this time in the season as opposed to the Atlantic, far more. The Atlantic so far has had five named storms. Juliet, however, is number 10 for the Pacific. So the Pacific has been more active, far more active than the Atlantic. As I mentioned last night, too, of the 5 tropical systems that we've had in the Atlantic basin, 4 have really been nothing to write home about. Case in point, Ferdinand, or however it's
Fernand.
pronounced. Fernand,
Fernand.
Anand.
It's like Fernando without the O.
Okay. In any case, it's like its predecessors. Really, nothing. The only one that has lived up to really a potent storm, and how much more potent can you get than a Category 5 has been Aaron, and that's pretty much been it.
All right. You have Briller Jeopardy tonight.
This is going to be, I believe, the last night. So take advantage of it. The last night that we're going to have retired storm names. Now I'm going to get it for you and get it up here in just a few moments. Just a few moments. Man, sometimes it takes Facebook like a year and a day to get this stuff up. All right.
There we go.
So here we are. So we're going to have the P's, the R's, the S's, the T's, and the W's. And the only reason why we've got so many letters is that each letter only has 1 or 2 storms attached to it that have been retired. So in this Brother Jeopardy, we finish off the retired tropical names. The chairman, Mr. Briller, says, "Great job, chat board. Tonight the letters are P, R, S, T, W." I almost feel like Pat Sajak on.
So we only have one P storm, correct?
Correct. Just 1 P storm.
And Rich Rothmansky, I actually was thinking about this before we got started, so he has vindicated me. Paloma.
And that's it. We've got Paloma.
I have no memory of that storm whatsoever. None.
I'm thinking about it myself. I don't remember Paloma either, but it must have done something because it was retired. It made the list.
Okay.
Unless Paloma dates back to the 1970s or 60s or whatever. I don't know.
Let's go in order, folks. Okay, so next is R.
We have 2 from the R's.
So
2
William
R's.
Uber says, "Put on your red lights, Roxanne."
Correct.
Okay, and Northern Grace gets the other one with Rita,
Rita is correct.
along with a few others. So now let's go. Now let's go to the S's.
We've got S. We've got 2 of them.
2 S storms. No, I don't think it was Sammy, Steve Lapointe. Unless you meant to say Sandy, which is a standout. So there's Sandy. That's 1.
Sandy is 1.
Okay. Some more. Harold Olson.
No.
No. Not Shelby. Rich Rothmansky with a question mark. I think he's got it. Stan.
Stan. Correct. If Rich had not gotten it, I would have asked you, Joe. Name one of our meteorology professors.
That's Stan. Next letter. What's no V, right?
No, it's T.
Oh, T.
T.
Oh, we have some T storms.
Yes.
How
T
many?
and W are left. 1 T and 1 W.
1 T and 1 W. So the W we all know is Wilma.
Right.
Which leaves us the T. Latex Dream says Tom.
CWTR Shark says Thelma.
Mike Waterhouse Bonsai says Timothy. William Uber
No.
says Thomas.
Thomas is correct.
But I have absolutely no memory of that one.
But Rich Rothmansky has Tomas. Tomas is Thomas in English, and Spanish is Tomas, but it's Thomas. THOMAS.
Okay. And do you have any memory of that?
Thomas?
Yeah.
I remember there was a Tomas, but I don't know. I don't remember a Thomas.
No, Tomas. That's the one.
No, it's Thomas.
It's Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have any memory of Tommy?
No, I don't.
No, I don't either. And that's it. Wilma is the W, as I said. So we're done.
I mean, what year was Thomas?
I don't know. Well, it's got to be let's see, do a quick Google here. And it's spelled with a TH, right?
Right.
Hurricane Thomas was a
I know there was a.
moderately
I know. Well, wait a minute. You know what? I think. I think that the chairman, Lord knows, I would question the chairman because he's always right on most things. But I think he meant to write Tomas. I remember
okay.
Tomas. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
remember him.
Tomas. Yeah, Tomas is what it comes up on Wikipedia. A moderately powerful late season tropical cyclone, which became the latest Atlantic hurricane on record in the calendar year to strike the Windward Islands. It was the 19th named storm and the 12th hurricane of the 2010 season. Blah, blah, blah. It moved through the windwards, passed over St. Lucia. After reaching Category 2 status, Thomas quickly weakened to a tropical storm in the central Caribbean due to strong wind shear, and then re intensified into a hurricane near the Windward Passage. Okay. Along the hurricane's path, 44 fatalities, 8 in St. Lucia. There was a cholera outbreak because of the flooding, uh, indirectly causing the fatalities. Uh, Haiti got off a little easier because it kind of went right through the Mona Passage when it made the turn east of Jamaica and then went through the Mona Passage and then out into the open waters of the Atlantic.
Now there have been two storms. This is the bonus question, I guess, but two storms from the Greek alphabet have been retired.
Right. Ada.
Ada is correct.
Uh, I don't remember the other one. Alpha, beta, gamma. Gamma?
No,
Beta?
no,
Omega?
no,
Rex?
no. It's the one that starts with an I.
Oh, Epsilon.
No, I, Joe.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't Epsilon. I don't Iota.
Iota. There
Yes.
you go.
As most people could care one iota. Paloma, by the way, was a strong late season tropical cyclone that set several records. It was the 16th tropical cyclone and the 8th hurricane and the 5th major hurricane of the 2008 season. Paloma was at the time the third most powerful November hurricane on record, but has since dropped to fifth in the Atlantic basin, behind the 32 Cuba hurricane, uh, Hurricane Iota and Hurricanes Iota and Eta in 2020, and a tie of 1999's Hurricane Lenny and 2001's Hurricane Michelle. Paloma also marked the first time that at least one major hurricane formed in every month of the hurricane season from July to November, with only June not having a major hurricane in the season. And it looks like that went over, started in the Southwest Gulf, I'm sorry, with Southwest Caribbean, moved northward, past near Jamaica, got to Cuba, kind of made a turn from there, went over western Cuba, and then on up into the Gulf of Mexico where it became post-tropical before moving on to the Florida Panhandle. So there was that.
And
And
I have, and just one other thing to mention: if you're out and about at 10 o'clock tonight, and you should really Google the Wallops Island Flight uh, Center, Wallops Island NASA Flight Service Station, to get the latest update on this. But they're planning to launch not one, not two, but three sounding rockets, tentatively set tonight at 10 o'clock. It's a rocket mission that will investigate one of Earth's most turbulent atmospheric regions, the mesopause. And what they're going to do is the first two rockets they're going to launch within a minute of each other is going to release vapor tracers, colorful clouds made from compounds similar to those in fireworks. So you may see, clouds with exotic colors like purple or pink or blue or green. And scientists are going to photograph these clouds from the ground to map upper atmospheric wind patterns. They're also going to launch a third rocket that's going to contain a specialized laser that's going to excite the sodium atoms in the mesopause. That will cause the sodium layer to fluoresce. And these payloads, according to NASA, will provide the clearest 3D view yet of turbulence at the edge of space. Now, this is supposed to happen tonight. The launch window runs from 10 o'clock tonight, and if they have problems, they'll wait until as long as 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. I personally am not going to wait till 6 o'clock in the morning if there has a delay tonight, but I'll step outside around 10 o'clock. From here in the New York tri state area, you look toward the south southwest. That's in the direction of Wallops Island. And if you know where Wallops Island, Virginia is in the Delmarva, just look in that direction tonight, and you may be able to see these colorful clouds in the sky, which probably will, when they do appear, cause a bevy of phone calls to police stations and weather offices and whatever, saying there's UFOs out there because it's something that's unusual in the sky that people don't normally see. But you know it now because you're watching us here on Joe and Joe, and we're alerting you to that. So again, this is called the Temps mission, Turbulent Oxygen Mixing Experiment Plus, Tomex Plus. And again, it's 3 NASA sounding rockets, and they're supposed to go up sometime just after 10 o'clock tonight.
Chairman
Now,
Scott Briller throwing some coin into the tip jar. Thank you very much. Take a bow. You rock for the chat board. Take a bow. You rock more. There's more tropical Briller Jeopardy tomorrow through Thursday, so we'll see what he has up his sleeve for those. Bobby Livingsworth. Uh, he wants to know what time we go to bed.
what time do I go to bed?
Well, what time do you go to bed in your bed, and what time I go to bed in my bed? Yes.
Well, I usually go to bed around 11:30 or midnight,
Ooh, what
and
is that?
excuse me.
What is that?
Well, I don't have to go wake up in the
I
early
don't even know
morning
what
anymore.
midnight
Neither do you.
is. Haven't stayed
Oh,
up till midnight in ages.
oh well, there you go. I
I'm
have to, Joe. I have to watch. First of all, I have to watch The Honeymooners at 9:30 on MeTV,
right.
and then I always watch the monologue from one of the talk shows, either Jimmy, not Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy, the other Jimmy, or Stephen Colbert. And once they do that, I'm out.
Oh, okay. No, I don't do that. Uh,
Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm usually in bed between 9:30 and 10 because I get up about 5:30 most days, between 5:30 and 6. So I used to be, it's funny because I used to be because working till 11 o'clock, I used to go to bed when I got home, which was around 12:30, and then I'd be up like at 7 the next morning because I was never one. I don't know. I can't sleep late. I get 6 or 7 hours and I'm good. Um, but now that I don't have to do that anymore, I've gotten used to the idea that, like, going to bed at between 9:30 and 10 o'clock is pretty reasonable. And it works for me. So yeah, I will watch a little bit of Perry. I will have a peach and maybe a little yogurt, and then I'll go to bed. So that's me.
Okay, very good.
All right. So we're probably going to take some time off, by the way. I meant to mention this to you before we started tonight, but I forgot. We're probably going to take Thursday and Sunday off since there's nothing going on. The only thing that might change is if it turns out that the middle of next week is something that we have to concern ourselves with, then then I guess we'll have a Sunday show unless you've got some plans this weekend.
No, I have
Okay.
nothing.
So we'll finalize this tomorrow, but just to give everybody a heads up early that we may take Thursday and Sunday off. So there you go. All right. So everybody have a great rest of your night and a good day tomorrow. We'll see you back tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, if you shop on Amazon, use our referral link on the descriptor of this podcast. If you need a weather station, Tempest by Weatherflow, use the link and the coupon code that's on the top of the chat board and also on the descriptor to this podcast. So everybody have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, folks.